Hey, what's up, guys? I was just making this video because recently it's been getting really hard for me to watch wrestling. I mean, I've been have there's just disappointment after disappointment from both WWE and TNA. I've been constantly let down by them, especially TNA, but I'll get to that in a little bit. I kept watching because I kept telling myself it'll get better. It has to get better. And and also because I really like watching wrestling. I mean, I won't stop being a wrestling fan regardless of how bad it gets. I'll just start watching older wrestling, back when it was good. One of the regrets I always have of being a wrestling fan is I never watched enough of the Attitude Era, the WWF. I mainly watched WCW. Um, Now that I look back, I really wish I had watched more of the Attitude Era because that was when WWF was at its best. I mean, you had The Rock, Stone Cold, DX back before they turned into corporate sellouts. Um, they were actually degenerates back then. They had a lot of funny sketches and promos, stuff like that. And not only that, but the wrestling was also good, and the storylines were also kick ass. And they weren't afraid to push the envelope. And for me, I've started becoming hesitant watching wrestling nowadays. Back when Bound for Glory this year occurred, and the impact that followed it. I mean, when Bobby Roode lost that match against an injured Kurt Angle, and then just a few days later, uh, his friend James Storm won the title after just a minute and a half title match. That was when I said, "All right, that's enough. That I've had it with their bullshit." And I haven't watched a single episode of Impact since then. But I have been reading about it, and I do know that Bobby Roode is champion now. He's turned heel and he's allied with Immortal, but right now I'm still really pissed off at what they did with him. I mean, James Storm literally had no build up for the world title. Then out of nowhere, he won the title just like that. And also, for what I heard, James Storm dropped the title because he had an injury, but that's a different subject. So, I'm pretty much done with TNA for now. I mean, that's complete bullshit what they did. Even though, I believe they have announced a partnership with Ohio Valley Wrestling, which is located in my hometown here. OVW was once a developmental territory for the WWE, but now they announced that they are now the developmental territory for TNA. And if I was still interested in TNA, I would have found that news exciting, but now I'm just barely interested in it. I mean, TNA, I'm pretty much done with them for now. Who knows when I'll start watching them again. Not only TNA, but WWE has consistently let me down with their mediocre pay-per-views and their silly decisions. I mean, for example, CM Punk, um, they completely dropped the ball with him, but I'm not taking into account what happened last night. This is all before what happened at Survivor Series, what I'm talking about, so I'll get to Survivor Series in a minute here. But CM Punk had the most interesting promo the last few months. I mean, that got me interested in it. And I was a CM Punk fan long before that promo occurred, and I was like, finally, uh, my faith paid off in something. WWE is building up CM Punk into a credible wrestler now, and I was just thrilled that my faith has paid off. But then they completely dropped the ball with him, and they started to concentrate on Kevin Nash, and Kevin Nash's time is long gone. I mean, he can barely walk anymore. Okay, he's a he was in TNA and he would get injured so much. he can. What CM Punk said during his promo with Kevin Nash, his knees make a clicking noise every time he takes a step. That's pretty much true. And they brought The Rock back, which I was really excited about. I mean, if it wasn't for The Rock, I probably wouldn't have even watched WrestleMania this year. I mean, The Rock was barely on WrestleMania. He wasn't used properly in WrestleMania this year. I mean, the only exciting moment during that pay-per-view during WrestleMania was his brief encounter with Stone Cold Steve Austin, and that was just epic. And I am glad that The Rock is back in the WWE because I didn't get to watch much of his performance during the Attitude Era, and I thought this is a chance for me to make up for that. But I'll get to The Rock in a minute. But back to current WWE. I mean, the two biggest heels, the two heels that are getting the most heat in the WWE right now are Michael Cole and Vicky Guerrero. And when two non-wrestlers are getting the most heat, something is wrong. Alright? I mean, Vicky Guerrero's doing a great job of being a heel. I mean, all she has to do is say, "Excuse me," in that shrill voice of hers to get the crowd to get to mercilessly boo her out of the building. But Michael Cole, I can't stand him. Alright, he can fuck off and die for all I care. He's just annoying on commentary. That bullshit Michael Cole challenge on Raw last week. I don't get me started on him, alright? He's like poison to me. And also, don't forget, they love to push John Cena to the top. Always give him the championship reigns, the title shots, and all that. I mean, right now, I think he's like a 12-time, 11-time world champ. I don't know. I know all I know is that he's won the title a lot of times. But despite him being the quote-unquote biggest face in the WWE, he gets the most heat. He gets a lot of heat for being a face. And in particular, last night in his Survivor Series match, he got more heat than Miz and R-Truth. I mean, yeah, the crowd, they don't like John Cena, and it's time to turn him heel, WWE. I mean, people do not like John Cena. They boo him pretty much every time he comes out. And I believe there were signs of him about to go heel because he was acting kind of standoffish with The Rock after their match last night. But just a combination of those factors have turned me off of the WWE. So I was thinking of pretty much stopping watching current wrestling nowadays. But since yesterday was Survivor Series and The Rock was going to be on, and it was my birthday last night, so I figured why not watch it, you know? So I did watch it on and off. I didn't watch all of it. But there were some good moments. Like during the Divas match, Beth Phoenix hit the Glam Slam on Eve from the top turnbuckle, which was a pretty sick move for a Divas match. I believe John Morrison's pretty much finished. It's time to give Zack Ryder a title shot. I mean, he is so over with the crowd. It's not funny. I mean, just give him a title shot, WWE, and he'd better win it, because Dolph Ziggler is gotten pretty boring as a champion. I mean, Dolph Ziggler's a good wrestler. He's a good talker, but it's time. It's time to give Zack Ryder his time. It's time to give Zack Ryder his title shot, rather. I'm getting mixed up. It's good to see Wade Barrett getting a push now. And I haven't been watching SmackDown, so kind of surprising to see Cody Rhodes get the reaction he got last night. And from what it looks like, Sin Cara is going to be out for a long time. It's sad to see him go, but because he was such a good performer, even though he botched a lot, and he was a Botchamania highlight reel. But it'll be sad to see him go. Hopefully he won't be gone for that long. But And the Big Show Mark Henry match, that was, I don't know what to say about that, but it had a bullshit ending. But Big Show hit a top rope elbow drop on Mark Henry, and that was pretty sick to watch. I mean, he for a pretty big guy like Big Show, for him to pull off a high flying move like that, that is surprising, to say the least. And what he did to Mark Henry afterwards, putting his leg in the chair and doing a leg drop on the chair, injuring Mark Henry's leg, that was sweet payback. Welcome to the Hall of Pain, Mark Henry, your own Hall of Pain. And next up, thank God, CM Punk is now the WWE Champion. He defeated Alberto Del Rio by making him tap out to the Anaconda Vice, and that was pretty sweet to watch. CM Punk deserves it, and finally he's back on top again, and I'm expecting great things from him as champion, and WWE had better not drop the ball with him this time, because if they do, I don't know, I'll probably stop watching. Congratulations to CM Punk, you're now the new WWE Champion, and here's to a good reign, a good long reign for you. Hopefully it won't be boring like Alberto Del Rio's reign. So the entire pay-per-view has been decent up to that point, but now we're up to the tag team match everyone's been waiting for. John Cena and The Rock versus Miz and R-Truth. Excuse me. And Rock has still got it, alright. The Rock looked great last night. He out-wrestled John Cena at every opportunity. I mean, he's still got it. I mean, it's like watching him back in the day. When I watched a few clips of Rock in the Attitude Era, and it was like going in a time machine. He was all over the place. And John Cena got his ass kicked last night. For those of you John Cena haters, you got what you wanted last night. He got his ass kicked by both Miz and R-Truth. He got booed to no end. And it was just a great match. And I had to say, The Rock is keeping me interested in wrestling. If it wasn't for The Rock, I would probably just stop watching wrestling nowadays. Current wrestling. And now we're up to the title of this video. Thank you, Rock, for keeping me interested in wrestling nowadays. And for renewing my faith in wrestling, even if it's just a little bit of faith. Thank you for doing that. Because I like wrestling. I don't want to hate wrestling. But that's pretty much all I wanted to say. Rock, thank you very much for keeping me interested in wrestling nowadays. And I hope he beats John Cena at WrestleMania. Because if Cena wins at WrestleMania, we riot. I mean it, we will riot. Unless John Cena turns heel in the process, which he should do. Get with it, WWE. Turn John Cena heel. We all want to see it. So, thanks for listening to my video. This is Mr. Mir. Keep on hanging in there, everyone.